Will you be there when the stars align?
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1246 of our daily content grind, and today we have to talk about everything else that dropped yesterday because it wasn't just HasLab Lyokaiser. Hasbro is currently at Megacon right here in Florida and they didn't come visit me or anything. And they are here to promote a whole bunch of new stuff. You know, they're basically making a mini San Diego Comic-Con out of their presentation, which is kind of cool to see a Florida Con reach those heights. So we're going to go over everything else that got shown off in person and revealed for the very first time, because there are some very exciting things that we get to discuss. We're going to kind of start off with the stuff that we've kind of seen before, but this is our first time seeing it like in person up close. So it's worth a note to take a look at, for instance, the 86 Constructicons. Long Haul's vehicle mode looking nice in these photos. You can see the big trailer full of extra combiner junk that he's going to come with. Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. It's definitely accomplishing its purpose. More interested in seeing just like nicer shots of the robot mode. This is, you know, a much nicer looking Long Haul compared to what we got in Combiner Wars. So we'll give it all the credit in the world. It's definitely doing better than they did previously. We do have a bit of an update on Long Haul, but give me a few minutes in order to get to that. Let's just get through the Constructicon portion of the video first. But no, he's looking good. He is looking good. Then we have Hook as well. Hook's taken a bit of a hit to his aesthetics because of that big head that's stuck in the middle of the crane, but nothing that's too distracting. Like, in order to have more of Devastator built into itself and less extra parts floating around, I think that's acceptable. You know, especially since like it doesn't seem to affect his robot mode. No one took a good photo of him just like from head to toe, which is upsetting because the legs are one of the things I wanted to talk about, because the legs are not animation accurate. They are far more like more toyetic and more you know, it's a weird mix between the toy style and the animation design. It's interesting. It also looks absolutely nothing like the legs that's on the AI generated art on the box. And yes, I'm still going to call it AI generated art. It's making some really weird errors and shapes, especially in Hook, that should not be there if an actual artist was handling it. And yes, that was on the production floor, so it looks like that's the final production box of art. So that's kind of disappointing, Hasbro. But, you know, it is what it is. I am buying it for the figure, not the art on the box. Speaking of the figure, you can actually see the prototype Devastator in person. Now, keep in mind, we haven't had a good look at Scavenger or Mixmaster yet, so this is one of the only times the public's going to get to see what those toys look like, at least enough of an idea before they show off like an official reveal of them. I wish there was a better shot of Scavenger. It looks like the way that he was positioned in the glass case, you wouldn't have been able to get around to that side to really get good shots of how that toy was going to turn out. Fortunately, we could get behind, so we also got to see like a little bit of how Mixmaster is going to work and look. It's a very vague idea of him so far, but I mean, I will take anything. Mixmaster was my favorite of those. It's the only one I ever had as a kid. We found it at like a thrift store I got pulled into one day, and it was just, hey, it was a Transformer. It's green. It's mine now, and it was Mixmaster. But yeah, gives you a little bit of an idea of how this works and how, you know, you can see how Scrapper is going to work as far as like a foot. So we will see. I'm looking forward to how those are going to display once we have the in-color versions, once we have like an official reveal for them. What was interesting about the Devastator prototype is we got to see the back of the toy finally, and he's got a lot of junk in his dump truck. No surprise. I'm actually like really weirded out by this. It's like, I understand like Long Haul always like in the G1, big trailer, like the big dump section of the dump truck, that did just kind of hang out on the back of Devastator, but it's much flatter to the back than this. It's weird. It's weird because it's a gigantic shelf of plastic that's going to be hanging out back behind his lower back. And I just look at that and I think to myself, surely that could have folded up and like made like a solid looking back for Devastator. I don't mind a backpack, but this is like some weird vestigial hump coming out of the base of his spine. That doesn't look good. You know, considering all the engineering that's going into this and the fact that, you know, we're paying for like deluxe scale Voyager class toys for the sake of all the extra engineering they take, I would have hoped, especially when you had a Commander class budget for this toy, that you could have done something a little bit cleaner with that big chunk of plastic. Like, yeah, I just really wish it folded up to the back, you know, and like covered up all the extra hinges that are visible from Hook. That would have given you the potential to make that combination look and feel a lot more solid. So I'm a little bit miffed about that, but it still looks like it's going to be a neat set, so I'm not going to harp on it too much. It's probably going to be better than the last Devastator we got, so we will leave it at that. They also had G2 Grimlock on the show floor, which is just nice to see, like the physical example. The lighting in this one was so bad. Like, the way the light hit this toy so weirdly, I thought they had added silver to the side of Grimlock's helmet. I was originally getting annoyed. It's like, why did you give him silver? Because that's one of those weird last minute, oh, we think it looks good changes that I absolutely believe Hasbro could have made. But no. It's just the lighting. It's just how the light's reflecting off the head. But it is looking good. I'm still not decided if I actually want to get him or not. Like, G2 was my childhood Grimlock. I have nostalgia for a blue Grimlock. I don't know if I want to pay $55 for that Grimlock again. I've already spent that twice on this figure. So, I'm still deciding. I'll let you guys know. Let's move into the new reveals. Stuff that we've heard about, but now we get to see firsthand exactly what we're talking about. And the first one is Heatwave, a retool of Legacy Bulkhead. A lot of us didn't like that Legacy Bulkhead. For me, I thought the figure was just too simplistic and didn't really convey the original Bulkhead as much as they were thinking it did. But this, I think this is the most perfect use for that mold they possibly could have had. I mean, as a Rescue Bot Heatwave, like, it looks like the classic Rescue Bot. Like, it just straight up looks the way he's supposed to look. Really cool idea. Like, really cool reuse of that mold, and like absolutely suiting. You know, I'm probably at some point going to sell off that Bulkhead and get like a whole $10 for it at this point, because it's such a loved toy. But I will absolutely be keeping the Heatwave. Like, I think it works perfectly with this mold. Like, look at him. That just straight up looks like Heatwave with more articulation and like more normal proportions. Like Evan at the panel said it himself. Like, it feels like this mold was designed with Heatwave in mind. It was not. This is just a happy coincidence that it came out. So it's a cool figure. I like how it turned out a lot. I think it's such a cute design and cute idea to take like the elementary school Transformers and make like fully fledged toys out of them. Now, let's get to one I'm really excited for. Our brand new Sky-Byte. Ooh, he looks good. He looks good. So, for me, Sky-Byte comes down to how good the paint job is for the Beast Mode, because I genuinely think it's the best repaint that Transformers has ever done. Like, it's such a night and day difference between him and Cybershark. So, with modern paint budgets, I was really worried about how Cybershark would end up looking, but thankfully, it looks like they've gone about as all out as their budget will allow them on a modern figure. Obviously, he doesn't have like the individual dots of paint for his little LEDs on his cybernetics, but he's got the airbrushing along the side. He's got all of his mechanical details brought out with paint. Obviously, a few colors have changed from the original toy to kind of simplify him a little bit. But for the most part, I'm happy with the presentation. It's a close enough paint job for me to still look at him and go, yeah, that's how Sky-Byte's supposed to look. So I'm happy to take that. I really wanted to show, like, because I've been trying to stick to the showroom floor photos because they look super nice. Thank you, TFW 2005, for providing. But they look super nice, and I love seeing, like, the actual toy rather than render. But I don't have no one took a good photo from foot to head of Sky-Byte. Guys, I'm begging you, if you have early access to stuff, make sure we see as much as possible in single shots as you can, and then go in for close-ups and details. So we'll go with the digital render for Sky-Byte just so we can see everything about him. My worry was he was just kind of going to be a rehash of the original figure and be a lot more junk heavy. So one thing about that old Sky-Byte toy is it is very, very kibble consumed. And while he has the kibble in the right spots for him to be like familiar looking, it's definitely cleaned up a lot and it's handled better. It definitely looks like he's got less of it going on in general, which is really good to see. It's good to see. Like he looks like a tighter Sky-Byte, but still hits all the right design details that I was hoping for. What really impressed me about the toy is something they showed off at the panel. No official images of it, but it's cool to see. The tail is entirely posable now. Well, not entirely, but it folds back and forth, and because the claw is his hand, it has a wrist joint, so you can get a lot of posability out of the tail. You can see right here where the way his arms collapsed for transformation, the elbows are lined up, so you can wave that tail side to side. And the cooler one, the head can be bent down, because that's the thing. Like Sky-Byte kind of always had his head bent, so he in shark mode, so he could, like, because that's how he was talking in that mode. Like he's always kind of hunched over. So they made sure they could actually replicate that. So it's a very posable shark as opposed to the last two that were like really fixed poses. Yeah, this might be one of the figures I'm looking forward to the most out of Age of the Primes. I think I'm looking forward to the Sky-Byte more than I am looking forward to the Primes themselves. Like, it literally fixes everything I didn't like about the original two Sky-Byte toys. This one articulates in the shark mode. That's all I really wanted. Thank you, Hasbro. So, aside from that, there's other announcements that we got to see for the first time. This is cool stuff. So we heard rumor, we had listings, but now we actually get to see it. Yeah, Hearts of Steel is back. We are getting a 2-pack. We're actually getting two 2-packs. And this is weird. It's such a deep cut to finally be making official toys for. This is the kind of thing that was like the third-party market's dream. Just really cool designs that Hasbro had no intention of doing. That was exactly what they lived off of. That's their bread and butter. And now Hasbro's just at a point where it's like, we'll literally do anything. Yeah, and the box is really, really cool. Like, when you take off the cover sleeve, it unfolds into, like, a nice display box of both of them. Now, a little bit of detail here. So, according to Evan, this is going to be a new thing, where every year they do a new Timelines release that shows off the main 4 Transformer characters, your Starscream, Megatron, Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, in a different time period. And they've already selected the time period for next year, but they also want future ones to be fan voted, which could be really, really cool. But it's always going to be those 4 that they know they're going to make, but they are always open to doing other characters if these turn out to be popular. If Hearts of Steel is popular, for instance, maybe we get the Steamboat Shockwave down the line. I would really like the Reflector. I really liked the 3-segmented Reflector. Like, that was actually a really cool design. But yeah, this is just a cool little initiative that they're doing, which I'm looking forward to. We see the Optimus Prime here. Similar to how a lot of third-party ones of this design turned out, I do think he looks a little bit off. Like, he doesn't look as, like, powerful in some way. Like, it's something about the way the shoulders or the head rests that just makes him look a little bit weird. But, man, remember, he is deluxe scale, so this is fine. You know, and he looks good for what he is, and I like the look. I'm not a train aficionado, but I like the look of old steam engines and locomotives, like big, powerful, heavy machines. I like the look of those, and he's gonna fit that. He's gonna fit that. It's just so surreal to see Hasbro going back and doing these designs out of nowhere. Like, it really does kind of cement when they say, hey, everything's on the table. Like, we are literally willing to do anything right now. The train mode is interesting. So they admitted they had to redo the train mode to accommodate, because Optimus Prime in the comics had the big, they had like the big, he was a much bigger train in the comics, because that was them replicating his trailer. They've kind of shrunken him down into just kind of this little steam engine design, which is cute, isn't it? It looks like he's ready to be a Thomas the Tank Transformer, doesn't it? I would not be surprised if this was a retool for a collaborative down the line. Yeah, but it still looks nice. Like, I'm absolutely still invested in this. It does look really, really good. More exciting, more interesting, because it's such a weird design to do. The Starscream, with his like faux like World War I era-esque biplane bomber thing he's got going on. The robot mode does look appropriately menacing. You know, he does look as accurate as I can remember him looking. And then we get to the jet mode. The jet mode just looks so cool. It looks like an airplane engine. It looks like a jet engine with just blades welded to it. And that's kind of a cool look. I'm not gonna lie. He looks really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to this 2-pack. I'm really looking forward to this 2-pack. They did one of those weird things where, like, yesterday they shadow dropped the pre-orders for Sky-Byte, the Commander class Constructicons, and Heatwave, and then said, well, in a few days you'll be able to pre-order the Hearts of Steel set. I'm like, why did you put 4 days in between those pre-order launches? That's weird. That's really weird. Like, you either wait 4 days to release them all at once, or just release this one early. Like I don't understand the logic of it. I don't understand the logic of it, because if you're going to spread out the hype and get people talking about it, then you do like Voyagers one day, Hearts of Steel the next day, and then the Commander Constructicons at a later date, spread it out over a week. It's just weird. It's just weird to me. But no, these do look cool. And we got to see Bumblebee and Megatron for the other 2-pack. Bumblebee is looking a little weird. Bumblebee's looking a little weird. So this is one of the few third-party toys I have. I have a Hearts of Steel Bumblebee as a third-party toy. And its robot mode looks better than this. And that's not a slam that I normally do, because I don't think it's fair to compare third-party to retail releases. Because third-party gets infinite budget, whereas retail has to fit within certain budgetary limitations. So I understand that, and I account for that. But it also shows me that, like, a proper, like, in proportion design of that Bumblebee is possible. I'm not sure why Hasbro's has such a stretched out torso, or it either has a really stretched out torso or really stubby legs, one or the other. And I saw the back of the box, because they showed off the packaging on this one too. I saw the back of the box, and the stock photo there had it exactly the same way. So I don't think it's mistransformed. Like, this would look fine if the legs were actually mistransformed and they should be extended, but that doesn't seem to be the case. You know, or if like the waist was supposed to be like contracted down a little bit and the torso was supposed to be closer to the pelvis. This just looks off. You know, like the proportions on it are just weird. Now, the steam locomotive he turns into, little steam engine, is adorable. I love the look of this. That's kind of the reason I bought the other one, because I just love the look of the machine so much. So this one, yeah, like I will buy simply for that little vehicle mode. To its credit, it is very well painted and decoed. Like all the gunmetal around I guess around, you know, like, I don't know what the parts of the train are called. I don't know what the parts of the train are called. I'm not going to try. But it is nice to see all the gold and the gunmetal. Like, it does look like they're going all out on the deco on these, which is really, really good to see. Yeah, and it looks like, yeah, like they even has like the armature around the wheels. It looks like, I don't know if that's actually going to work when you roll it, but it'd be cool. Be cool if it did. And then there's the one that I think everyone, when it first showed off the Hearts of Steel designs, everyone went, that would be hysterical. Please do that as a toy. I don't even remember. I think Third Party did it, but it's been a long time. The Megatron from Hearts of Steel, who turns into a cannon, like just a literal cannon. Now, robot mode looks good. I mean, it's fairly basic Megatron design. He's in black to kind of match the aesthetic of the cannon. He's got those gigantic spiked wheels hanging off like he just came out of a biker bar. But what's hysterical to me is, yeah, he just has a straight up cannon mode. This is amazing. It's weird. We've inadvertently melded him with Galvatron somehow. And I think it looks pretty good. Now, there's a downfall to this design in transformation, in that it does look like it's going to be a very simple transformation, because, like, there's his legs. His legs just make the backside of the cannon's platform. So it doesn't do a whole lot of transformation in the lower waist. So I mean, it's gonna have to rely on doing a lot of tricks in the upper waist to feel like a clean and like proper transformer. And you know, if you want your transformer fun, that's gonna be a little bit hard to get out of them. Maybe we will see how it turns out. But for now, I think it's just hysterical that it's going to exist. I will accept it just for that. So yeah, the Hearts of Steel stuff is really exciting. The fact that the whole idea of timeline stuff is exciting, you know, because we could potentially take that anywhere. I don't know if it's going to be like one of those, like, well, you pick the time period and we'll do 4 toys inspired by it, or if it's going to be like, here's a story where Transformers existed in this point, like here's an obscure comic book or something like that, and here's what those 4 characters were in there. Hearts of Steel is just a convenient way to start off that little gimmick, because it's already a period piece Transformer series. So we will see. And hopefully these do take off well, because there's so many good Hearts of Steel designs. I would love to see Skywarp colors on that Seeker. Please let this take off. I want to see more of these. Now, there were Space Bridge reveals too, which have a lot to talk about, but we are going to be first discussing one little update from yesterday. They showed off Lyle Kaiser's prototype in a different configuration on the floor on the 3rd day. And one of them is that, yeah, you can actually use the other arms as, you know, or at least you can use Hellbat. Oh, I'm sorry, Elbat. You can use him as a cannon on the shoulder. Or, yeah, you know, you can use him on the shoulder when Death Cobra is in the arm mode. And yes, thankfully, the arm, the tail of the helicopter can absolutely fold down, so it's not just jutting out to the side like on the original render. So that's really good to get a reassurance of. So Lyle Kaiser's alt mode can actually get cleaned up. Good to know. Now, let's talk Space Bridge stuff, because this is the really cool stuff that we can't see yet, but it's in the pipeline. We should be looking out for it. Now, they did say that everything in this Space Bridge is going to be at New York Comic Con in a month. So we don't have long to wait before we actually get to see these in person. Some of them have me very, very excited. For starters, to continue Devastation, they are going to be doing the generics from the game in order to give you like a more of a troop builder experience. So we got the blue repaint of the runabout mold, and then we have a black repaint of Ramjet. They will be coming with separate weapons. You can see like primal swords being held by whatever they end up calling the black Ramjet. These troop builders are fun, and you know, there are multiple colors of all those generics, so it'd be fun if they do another 2-pack of these down the line, or you know, or whatever, just to get the other ones out there, because I do like how that mold looks in gold. I would like the yellow one, please. Thank you very much. And then yeah, it's Seeker's black and red. It's in my brand colors. I kind of have to get it at some point. I'm hoping it's one of those like nobody knows what it is, so Target's going to have stacks of them for like half off. That would be great. Next up, another one we knew was on the way, but nice to get official confirmation. 86 Perceptor is going to be a store exclusive, and it's going to be a multi-pack along with a retooled Rat-Bat, who is going, or at least a Rat-Bat who's going to have like his actual shoulder guns. So the next Rat-Bat toy will be a little bit more complete. and a brand new ram horn mold to get more of those cassettes out for your Soundwave and Blaster. The fun part about this one is apparently Hisui-san wanted to go back and retool Perceptor a little bit to be more accurate to his animation model. In particular, he wanted to beef him up a little bit. My hope is that they actually go the extra mile and take out some of the tooling for his tank mode, like the treads along the legs, because if they're going to strive for cartoon accuracy on a Perceptor toy, we don't really need the tank mode, and I understand it adds to the play value of what is otherwise kind of a dull little figure, but character-wise, like, I wouldn't mind one that sticks a little bit more true to how the animation model looked. So, like, I wouldn't mind if the retooling included taking the treads off, but I am curious as to exactly how much they mean by bulking him up. We will see. Again, won't be too long, just a month to wait. Here was a really interesting pair to show in the Space Bridge. So we have Carnac, who's a very interesting character. Every time I look this character up, he seems like really cool. And then it's Iron Fist in the original G1 toy line, but now they have flip-flopped it for the sake of trademark. Fist Iron is the new name. You know what? Fine. That's at least a funnier one. I like that better than Fistatron that BotCon attempted. It sounds better than that. But yeah, thanks. Yeah, because it's a Marvel character, we can't call him Iron Fist anymore. Okay, got it. This is apparently a mold that or a figure that they've been wanting to do for a while, and they've finally been able to slot it in. Don't know if it's going to be like a Hound retool or something. They didn't go that far. What we do know about Carnac, however, is that he is going to be a retool of Titan's Return not Mind Wipe. Jeez, that'd be an amazing retool. Titan's Return Weird Wolf, or Wolf Wire, if we're going by like strict trademark names, which is a good call. I will say that. And it's actually surprising to me that those molds are actually still viable to release at modern price points, because like I always tend to feel like after a mold hits a certain age, like it had different budgetary concerns in mind when they made it, so releasing it in a modern day is not as likely, because like the mold is bigger, it takes more plastic, it uses more assembly, etc. So budget-wise, it doesn't really work in. But it does seem like, yeah, like it's going to be a heavy retool of Weird Wolf, so it's going to have the Headmaster gimmick. And that means it's likely going to ignore the outer shell and just go straight from animal to robot. And I think for the Pretender Beast, that's much better, because it's not like standard Pretenders where you have to attach all of the weapons to the inner robot's vehicle mode to be able to tell it's a jet. You can tell that, Carnac is some kind of robotic wolf in his beast mode. So I won't mind that so much. And again, Carnac's just a cool character, so it's nice to see that he's getting a toy. And moving on from there, we are getting another take on Sandstorm. This one's going to be more cartoon accurate, so expect a repaint. And then what they're dubbing Handsome Sandstorm, because he's going to have the cartoon accurate face. So yeah, if your nostalgia for Sandstorm is the cartoon model, there is another version of that toy on the way. Slug Slinger is interesting, because they didn't state whether or not they were actually... Oh, I should mention, someone did actually, the panel did ask about the chest on Sandstorm, and if that was going to be fixed in the upcoming release. And that's also something to mention about these two. They did know that the Wolf Wire mold does have issues with the canopy, so they did fix that. Like, this toy will actually be able to open up its back and not break. So, good. They fixed that. Evan was not aware of the chest problems with Sandstorm, so he has to check back to see if that's getting fixed on this release. And then now we can talk about Slug Slinger, which is a weird choice, because now we know that Carnac is going to be a Titan's Return mold. That does mean that this could straight up be like a more cartoon accurate paint job on the original, or even just a straight up re-release, because that mold and its subsequent retools of Trigger Happy and Misfire are all really expensive on the aftermarket right now. So another run of all three is not the worst decision if they're still viable to release at that price. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were just reissues, just because like it's been a long time. Those toys still have really hot demand behind them. Or it could be a completely new mold. They didn't state. And then there's the confirmation of the stuff that really has me excited. You know this kind of stuff. It always excites me. We are definitely getting an Excellion. We are getting the red Hotshot repaint as a part of celebration for the anniversary of Cybertron. And then like the big one that got a big pop out of the crowd, Sideways, is getting a brand new toy. I remember like scrolling through TikTok yesterday, and one of the videos that came up in my feed was somebody going through these reveals and going like, "Yeah, they're just gonna reuse the original mold. That's cool." No. This is kind of why I waited today. I wanted to hear the panel for myself before I reported on all this because I knew things would be explained. And Sideways is going to be a completely new toy. No retooling, no reusing the original. It's going to be a brand new figure. And I don't know how they are going to come up with this. I don't know how they're going to improve on this because that is a very, very good toy. And apparently talking to the designer at Takara, they asked, like, what toy do you really want to do? What was your favorite? And the designer said Noise Maze, which Evan didn't know the Japanese name of Sideways. So if they got the same designer working on it again, I can only imagine it's going to turn out good. He's got 20 more years experience of how to design it. And that's pretty much going to be it for the reveals of all that. There are a few things that we could probably discuss if we wanted to go into like the, kind of like going into like the nitty gritty of exactly what was said there. So someone in the Q&A mentioned Polar Claw. They did say that is possible, but it's difficult when a character is not based off of a cartoon character, when it's toy only. Let's see. Timelines B does not have a Centurion head, so they're not planning for that just yet. Yeah, the Bow Shockwave is something Mark has been trying to get into the toy line for a while now. Timelines is mentioned as a test, so they can revisit it in the main line if it's popular, which means, yeah, if Hearts of Steel sells well, then a couple of years from now, we could see Boat Shockwave, or we could see the Reflector, or any of the other designs. I'm trying to get to just like, yeah, he dispelled a rumor of an IDW Fort Max, but they do want to do it at leader class, but they also want to do a new rung. They want to do the rest of the DJD, but it's kind of up to like marketing telling them like, no, you can't make a transforming electric chair, which means Nickel's probably the only one that's like close to being a possibility right now. Let's see. Yeah, marketing does love the cassettes. They always sell well, so they don't mind the cassettes being out. They mentioned random things, like Studio Series toys, like Dispensor. People are asking for Dispensor. They did say that if they did a Cybertron Optimus Prime, it would not be a re-release of Siege Galaxy Upgrade Optimus. Hasbro wants to do a new Cybertron Optimus. Takara wants to do a new Cybertron Optimus. It's not slated for this year, but both sides of Transformers want to do it. Happy me. I don't know where they're going to slot it in, because it would have to be a Commander. Maybe... I'm going to say, like, it's probably not going to be, like, a small-scale Titan. Unless they bulk it out and throw in, like, Leo Breaker or something. Because they did mention that they want to make sure that, like, all of his gimmickry, and especially, like, the swappable arm thing, was intact for this release. So they had Leo Breaker in mind. So, yeah, they are thinking very hard about a Cybertron Optimus, which has me very excited. Let's see, and yeah, some of the other things that were referenced is like I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed. I'm going over like the quick notes here. I think that's just about it. Everything else is just little notes on like design process and things. But yeah, like to end off on like, ooh, Cybertron Optimus might get a new toy. Excellent. I'm very excited for a lot of this stuff. Yeah, like it's going to be a very, very interesting year of Transformer toys. So that's it. This has been a very long video. This is why we didn't talk about it yesterday, along with Lio Kaiser. So there you go. Feel free to discuss it in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite reveal is, and if you're going to be buying that Hearts of Steel set, because we got to get more of those designs out there. So let me know in the comments, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.
The day is getting closer. My journey is almost over. And when it is, our journey begins. The question is, when the stars align, will you be there?